My first question to you, sir, is different languages, different genres, even different generations. So there's one Caravan, which is a very, very niche magazine. And there's Manohar Kahaniya, Satya Katha, which you recently acquired. So what is that one common vision which Delhi Press has for all its magazines which is coming out of its stable?
First of all, no, I must thank you, SHEROES, and Sairi for inviting me. And I was also delighted to hear Mr. Deep Chahal, Mr. Deep Kalra of Make My Trip. It was a very inspiring talk, and how a person could develop a small organization into such big, dominant organization. As far as Delhi Press is concerned, see, we have one common thought in all our magazines. We believe that a human being has a right to live and be empowered as an individual, and he is not to be bound by the social or political customs or norms or whatever you may call them. So right from the beginning, our publications have been challenging the existing system. Right from 1945, when my father started Sarita, it had been a very, very controversial magazine. And when I took over sometime in 70s, it became more so. And we have had lots of troubles with almost all kinds of people, and mostly on opinions. Generally, newspapers and magazines have trouble with people on facts, that you have reported something wrong on facts. But we had been targeted on opinions. What we have challenged all throughout is the thinking. And we have always been thinking, we have always been very confident that the society is made for women. And it is the women who can play a pivot role in developing a society. No society in the world can grow only on the basis of the hard work of men. There have to be women behind, or women have to be almost the forefront or the reason for that. We do not live in an age when we loot and prosper. We live in an age where we produce and prosper. And our magazines help women in producing a very happy family, which is the basic ground on which a productive life can be developed.
Like Sairi said in her introduction, it is either about the upmarket, very, very uber, very, very urban, very, very successful women, or it is about the grassroots, women at the grassroots. Nobody talks about the Desi Mahila as much as Delhi Press does. What is the biggest change in the social trend that you've noticed in the last 40, 45 years of your association, or the way you've created content with Delhi Press?
Yes, women have changed a lot in the last 40, 45 years. Women used to be subjected to the norms laid down by men. They used to remain confined within the four walls of the home. Now they go out, they take decisions. In fact, their decisions are now being followed by men. It is a society now being run by men, by women, and not by men anymore. It may seem that the decision making is still in the hands of men, but actually most decisions which affect our life are taken by women.
Which are these kind of decisions that we're talking about, and does that affect the way advertisements have been placed now?
You see, most of the advertising which you will see in any media, it will have to be addressed to women only. Only one thing which I have a problem with this advertising is that it takes women for granted. It does not try to teach them what they are selling. Very recently, a new air fryer has come into the market. I'm only taking an example. I'm not talking about a particular product. And it says that you don't have to use too much oil while you're making a fried thing. But how does it work? Why does it work? How is it different from deep frying? Nobody is going to tell you. Unless and until an advertiser takes the plunge into telling this product will not sell, women will not buy. I remember from my childhood days when Hindustan Lever launched Dalda. Now the Dalda was something which was abhorred those days against desi ghee. It was hydrogenated vegetable oil. Indian public was not ready to take it. And Hindustan Lever or Lever Brothers those days, I mean, I don't think they used to call themselves Hindustan Lever, they used to call them Lever Brothers. They took 6 pages of ads explaining how this particular kind of oil or ghee is better than or equal to the desi ghee. This kind of advertising has stopped now. Somehow we have been trained that the brand is more important than what the brand is selling. So that is one difficulty which we have, and women do not know why they should buy a particular product and how. And they actually go and buy anything and then experiment and make their own decisions. So that is one thing about the advertising.
What drives the magazine format? Readership, advertising, or distribution, or all 3 of them?
Actually, it is the content. It is not the either of the 3. You have to have the right kind of content. Women are looking for solutions of their problems. Women want to know also. It is a misconception that women do not want to read about politics, about society. Women do want to read, but they want to read it in their own language and in their own style. They may not be interested in personalities. They may not be interested in knowing what a particular politician is doing. But they do want to know what the kind of policy that particular politician is making. Sarita always had been named as a women's magazine, but we have always had brush with people who were men or people in politics. We have had trouble with Indira Gandhi when she was at the zenith of her power. We have had trouble with information minister. We had trouble with our Delhi chief minister. We had trouble with BJP government when it came in 98. We have recent troubles also. I mean, these things came with Sarita, which is generally termed as a women's magazine.
So the way you reinvented Caravan and resurrected it, did you never think of actually rebranding Sarita as a magazine which was meant for smart, intelligent women who were living in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, but they pretty much wanted to know what was happening around them or was happening in the world?
You see, this process had been there all along. Sarita has changed a lot from 1940s and 50s and 60s. Our main forte once upon a time used to be our, say, knitting issues. Now there is no more. We don't carry those knitting issues because women have stopped knitting. We carry some cookery items, but not much, but then they are also health related cookery items. And mostly we have started discussing the problems of society and family more seriously and more fundamentally. And our readers have welcomed it. We received a lot of queries. We received lots of opinions, sometimes for and sometimes against us.
Delhi Press has an employee strength of about 1,000 or 1,100 employees, if I'm not wrong. Only about 200 of them are from the editorial department. I'm sure a lot of people here would want to know what are the kind of employment opportunities or career opportunities Delhi Press or a publishing house for that matter offers. And how can one start writing for, say, Caravan on any of these, or Sarita, or on any other magazines that is coming out of your press?
You see, I think writing is a very good vocation for women. They can use their time very well, although the number of pages restrict us to publish too much what has been written. But still, it lets women have their say. In case they work hard, they do some research, they read a lot, they can definitely write very well. Most of our freelance writers are women, and they accept new ideas very quickly. The magazines in uh, Hindi or other languages are supposed to be little backward, uh, still sustaining the old traditions. But our magazines are absolutely opposite to that. And our readers and our writers and contributors very quickly adapt to our kind of thinking. And they agree most of the time what we say, that that a particular subject should be taken or should be dealt in such and such way. Women are very, very open now. They are educated and they know their problems and their fields of action. And they have time. One thing which is stopping is women, especially women who remain home, is the kind of media which is being thrown to them. You see, they are being conditioned into thinking that most of their time should be spent in gossiping. And I think that is very, very bad. It is happening almost for the first time, because for centuries women were doing very productive work, even if its value was low, but it was as low as of the men at that time. In agrarian society, even men's productivity was low. So if women's productivity was low, it didn't matter. But they were working hard. Now when the technology has come, women have spare time, fewer children. They have been trained into thinking that their life has to revolve around kitchen or jewelry or better clothes. And it is not for only a party, it is for throughout the day. And it is sad that most of our soap operas move around the same subject of how you demean the other women in the house or around the house. That is not the business of media. The media should encourage women to work hard, to be more productive, to be a pillar of strength to the family, rather than trying to pull legs of each other and spoil the peace in the family.
Sir, Deep just said that it is not about pay, it is mostly about self-esteem when it comes to women who want to work. Do you see that change in your content? Does your content also reflect that women are actually now more concerned about their self-esteem and are looking for content which will add value to their personality, to their self-esteem, to their personal growth?
Yes, I do see women are very, very confident now. They know what they are doing, and they do not look forward to the men in the house, whether a father or a husband, for anything. They know that they can take their own decisions, and they do take their decisions. In fact, in most cases, if you go to a market, you will find that the more buyers are women than men. Because now, most of the decisions have been taken to, have been left to women, and it is a good thing. And it gets reflected in the writings which we carry. Women do to travel alone. They are not scared. There is a typical incident which keeps happening in every story, that our heroine is going in a train alone, and she starts thinking about something and there is a flashback. Sometimes I do not like it, but that proves that it is acknowledged now that a woman does not have to be accompanied with a man when she is traveling.
Sir, actually, traveling, it is said that for women especially, because they're out of their comfort zone, they're out of the cocoon that they've been into, when they're traveling or they're driving, they think more and they take decisions more when they're traveling. So which is why you see that in the films like Queen, for instance. One question which is actually business related question, when a lot of other magazines or the publishers or the publishing houses actually were thinking of either shutting down the business or were getting into other media businesses. Delhi Press happened to be the only business which was was working towards making stand-alone magazines more and more, go the stronger way. So, is that how you've always planned? Is that the business model that you've always planned, or did you never think of going into another formats like, say, TV, like India Today Group, or newspapers for that matter?
You see, once you are in media and you are selling content, you do want to get into every possible media, whether it is screen or whether it is daily newspapers. But very soon we realized that both newspapers and television have to be medium, or a medium where you cannot convey your thoughts. A newspaper is bound to give you news as it happens, and not with a tinge, not with an opinion built into it. And we did not want to do that. We wanted to give women our opinion about whatever is happening around. And we believe that it is the right and the prerogative of an editor, and in fact a responsibility, to tell its readers that what is right and what is wrong according to him or her. We do not want that we just place the facts before readers and say, well, you choose and you take a decision. Then it would be something like on internet. You see, what is wrong with internet is that you try to find something and you have a million solutions, and you do not know which one is right or which one is not wrong, is not so right. We think that it is the duty of an editor to give a hint of what is better and what is not so good.
Is that the reason why the Caravan was resurrected? I hope all of you know, the Caravan actually follows the long form journalism, one of the very few magazines in the country now following that format, and is extremely, extremely popular, which covers a lot of issues on art and culture and literature, and some of the best people in the industry are writing for the magazine. So is that the reason why you brought back Caravan into, you reinvented Caravan into what it is today?
Yes, you see, to some extent, yes, but more importantly, the current magazines which were available were mostly news magazines. And in news magazines, you are bound down by a timeline. You got to give something within 3 to 4 days. Caravan adopted a policy where you could spend more time on a particular issue, and you could give more words, and you do not leave the reader in lurch in between. Maybe this is right, maybe this is not right. We try to give the whole picture to the reader. Maybe we give only a fewer stories in every issue, but whatever issues a reader picks up, he knows almost everything about it. And he can be very proud that he has gone through something which has made him or her much more wiser than before the item was read.
So one question that I'm sure most of us would like to know is, why is content generation, or writing for that matter, it never pays well? What do we do to make this career more lucrative?
Yes, this career is not very remunerative in one sense, but that is because in this country we still have very, very low cover prices, and the circulations are not very high. But I'll tell you something. How and why it has happened, I have not been able to figure out. But in 1945, when Sarita was launched, its size was almost the same as it is today, and the cover price was 1 rupee. That will be almost equivalent to 400 rupees today. The inflation is almost 400 from 1945.
And what was the distribution like in comparison to now
The
in terms of
distribution, I mean,
ratio?
those days we were selling around 20,000 copies, which was not small, and the readers were there. But somehow, something happened in this society, and it did not happen in all other societies, that the cover prices of all media have remained very, very low. Television is almost free or was free for a very, very, very long time with Doordarshan coming, government interfering. Newspapers are very free, I mean almost free. Uh, if you calculate the cost of the waste paper, it doesn't, the cover price does not even cover the delivery cost. Somebody is financing it. Somebody is financing, and whoever is financing is having his say through the newspaper. So that is the reason why every magazine in the country has to cut corners, and the contributors are not paid as they would like to be paid. But those days, Sarita used to pay very well, and much better than what we pay now in terms of inflation.
So you've mostly been, Delhi Press has mostly been a vernacular publishing house, but now you're expanding and now you're also acquiring a lot of titles which are English and which have very, very niche readers. What made you go that way in terms of why did that expansion, that kind of expansion happen? Is it because vernacular is not doing great anymore?
No, it is not that, but you see, till 40s, 50s, and even 60s, whoever knew English knew his mother tongue also very well. After that, a change happened. We started sending our children to what we call English medium public schools. And the problem with these English medium public schools is that inside the classroom, you will read English, but as soon as you step out, you start talking about in your mother tongue. So by the end, when you have completed an education of 15 years or 20 years, you are left with knowledge of your English, and you are speaking and hearing capability of your mother tongue, but you can't read and understand your mother tongue. And similarly, you can't express yourself very well in English. So we have a very peculiar problem today that we are neither here nor there. In this big country, with the millions of people who have come through English medium public schools, English books do not sell. There is no English original TV. There is no English soap opera. English music is not popular. English films are not popular. A few English writers are there, but their books sell, but not in that number which will justify the larger number of English medium public school educated children are around. Where is the problem? But because these people were there who could not read their own mother tongue, this has become a fashion. Most people who have come through English medium public schools cannot read their mother tongue, not fluently. So and since the number is substantial, we thought that it is one of the Indian languages, and we have gone into that.
Did internet also affect the readership?
Readership of what?
Readership of the magazines, especially the vernacular magazines.
The language magazines have not grown the way they should have grown, but there may be more reasons for that. One could be distribution. Distribution has become very, very difficult. Our postal services have become very erratic. Nobody can be a subscriber of a magazine and be happy for the whole year, because the magazine, out of 12 issues, if it is a monthly, only 6 or 7 will be delivered.
That's true.
5 will be stolen in transit. And now pavements are shrinking. Real estate prices are going very high. And because the cover prices of magazines is very low, especially in India, so the per copy margin of the distributor or the last seller is very low. So these are the problems which are making it more difficult to sell language magazines. But I continue to think that a very large number of people whose only language is their mother tongue are getting educated and literate every year. And it is increasing exponentially, and there is no reason that they will not be good readers. But somehow, we have not been able to crack it.
In the just one last question before we, if you allow, can we take questions from the audience? Yeah, just one last question. What is the biggest trend that you notice which will affect the content in the next 10 years, especially in terms of women's magazines?
See, women are now looking for something by which they can be productive at their homes also. Women are not content with only homemaking. It doesn't take that much time, not anymore. They want to learn something, they want to use their talent, but it is not coming in their way. Nobody is teaching them how to do things, and nobody is teaching them how to sell whatever they can do. That is one of the big challenges, and I wish we could do something about it, or someone else could do about it. Maybe organizations like SHEROES can do something about it, but it is needed in a large way. And a society which can garner the productive capability of women who are at home will grow very, very fast.
There's no reason why that won't happen.